Sure. I think it's difficult to say when we ever arrive at anything in terms of policy or in terms of governance. I think you set a broad vision, and oftentimes you realize you're there once you've actually achieved it. I think the biggest challenge for Estonia right now is to continue to pull out of the financial downturn, or the economic crisis, which has impacted the country, the region, the world over the past 3 years. I remember from the Washington perspective, I was working in the State Department when I was responsible actually for Iceland, which was the first country to be impacted by the financial crisis. The next was Latvia, but then Estonia and Lithuania very quickly were sort of at the head of the crisis in terms of seeing an economic downturn. Estonia has been a leader, however, in actually pulling out, and the indicators last year in terms of growth and this year I think are very exciting, and Estonia is actually ahead of the curve in terms of maybe bellwether for changing Europe. So I think the biggest challenge right now is pulling out of the financial crisis, the economic crisis. I think Estonia also right now has a unique opportunity to take advantage of the very positive international media it received when it joined the Euro at the beginning of January. You talked about a negative image of Estonia. I would actually say that Estonia doesn't have a negative image. It successfully branded itself as Estonia. A number of visitors come from Washington here expecting that they can take advantage of free internet all over Tallinn and all over Estonia. We tell them, no, there are a few pockets where you can't do that. I think Estonia actually has a very good image in that regard. What other country, at the beginning of this year, received coverage in Forbes magazine, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, for being fiscally responsible for joining the Euro at a time when other countries were pulling out of it, and for carrying out this very interesting experiment in e-governance, in cybersecurity, and for branding itself as a country that's ahead of others in terms of technology and innovation. So I think that's the next step.
If we talk about fitting Estonia into the world, or fitting well into Estonia, then we should first think about the terms of the fitting room, perhaps, because, you know, Estonia is a newcomer as a state. When I say it's only 93 years ago than when Estonia was first established, but Estonians as a community, it's much older. It's about 11,000 years perhaps, and I must say that Estonia has always been fitted into the world or into Europe, but of course as a state it was a totally newcomer just in 1918. And of course there are lots of problems that come out from history, because when you ask how does it fit into the world, then we must ask what is the world like, because we have been in various types of international, so to say, states, like the Soviet Union, with 15 other states together cooperating, having our own economy with them. We have tried all kinds of cooperation in this sense, so nothing is new for us, actually. But when we think about the future, what should be the next step? I think the previous steps have been quite good, because we may say exactly that Estonia is the most internationally integrated state in the Nordic states, at least. And I think we should go on with the same steps, very rationally. No miracle can happen, it seems to me. And of course we are not very much afraid of the problems that people move out. Yes, they try to find their jobs abroad, in the Nordic countries, in Finland, but this is usually, these are the people from the countryside. They are not those people who go from Tallinn or the region surrounding Tallinn. They mainly go away from rural areas, and it's a really difficult problem. They can't find any kind of work there. And but this has happened also before. In the beginning of the 90s or the end of the 80s, many people went to work to Finland, but they came back. And what is the main thing, what we should do next? I think This is communication, because it seems that Estonian can communicate very well abroad. This is not right. The people who go to work, they actually don't know the language very well, and it's a great problem. As Ilves, the president, told in his last speech, he said that Estonians should be more open or open-minded towards other nations. But this depends very much on the ability to communicate, to talk to other people in various parts of the world, and I'm not sure that Estonians know English very well, and neither do the Russians. They don't know it at all, the Russians who live in Estonia. So the first step is to learn the language, and perhaps the second step after that is the possibility to learn more outside Estonia. We are too much afraid of, so to say, the young people learning abroad, that they leave their homeland. I'm not sure about that. They should learn more, they should be in the world, feel themselves among other nations, and I'm sure they will come back and try to make the next big step for Estonia.
Thank you. I'm actually in a pretty good position to answer to this question, because as Development Fund is a think tank for Parliament, and our role is a bit of think a more longer-term future than government institutions normally do, and kind of lead a discussion in a society. Then just in the middle of crisis, we started a process, kind of a strategic conversation process in a society, which we call the Estonian Growth Vision 2018. And the 2018 was a kind of a symbolic year for Estonia, because Estonian Republic gets 100 years old by that time, and we also held the EU presidency at that year, and therefore it was kind of a symbolic for us. And we started to ask the question, actually, what type of society and what type of economy we are dreaming about, and how to get there, or how to realize our dreams. And during the year we actually gathered around 1,000 different experts, creative and curious people from very different backgrounds in Estonia to the discussion. We tried to structure and inspire a bit of unconventional thinking. And the results are actually shortly also summarized in this booklet, which is some copies available, still there. And what seemed to inspire people was really that if we started to look for this economic vision, then in a very early phase, actually, people were tired about this economic kind of a rally or rush. And it was very sure that what they expect from the future is more kind of a balanced or inclusive growth, where two sides are, two dimensions are balanced. First, of course, as a small country and small market, we have to be successful, we have to be export-led. And we have to know the export market and to be strategically agile, to use better maybe the opportunities which are opening up there. But the other side is really to be also at the same time locally attractive, and not only between ourselves, but also for foreign people who want to come and realize themselves here in Estonia by working or teaching or whatever. Because it was very clear that in 10 years' time, what is the difference in today and by that time, Estonia should be probably more international as a business environment, as a higher education environment than it is today. We are quite economically very old, very open and very liberal, but as a nation we tend to be a bit closed for new ideas and a bit closed for people from other countries or strange people. And it was referred